Hare Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here at Bhagavat Sravana. It's so nice to see a full room. Oh, I'm so glad you came. What is your name again? Yeshito. Keshito. He was one of the musicians in our Bhakti Studios program that we did last night and led amazing, inspiring kirtan for all of us. So thank you for being here with us. If anyone wasn't able to come last night, it was super amazing, and we're going to be having these regularly moving forward. So keep in touch on the temple newsletter for upcoming events. And today, I think everyone here knows Sri Prahlad. He's been speaking a lot recently, which is our good fortune. So I won't say too much about him, otherwise I'll talk instead of you all hearing from him. But just very, very briefly, he's grown up in this movement of Krishna consciousness, been practicing since the womb. And he, at the age of 13, took shelter of his spiritual master, Hridayananda Das Goswami, and has always been very, very serious about bhakti. And he actually traveled with Indradyumna Swami for 18 years, serving him personally in many different ways and doing kirtan and so many different services. And he's traveled all around the world leading kirtan and also teaching and inspiring people. And he's written a book on leadership, and he's also a professor, a university professor, and he just recently moved here to New York City. So we're so happy to have him here as part of this community with his beautiful wife, Sri Gandharvika, who is amazing. She's a doctor working like 70 hours a week, and she still comes and dressed Radhamurli at our Gaura Chandra this morning with so much love, so much devotion, and is one of the most energetic, sincere, enthusiastic devotees I have ever seen in my entire life. So please come to Prahlad and speak to us. Give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. As always, it's an honor to be here at the Bhakti Center and to be sharing with all of you. This is Bhagavat Sravana, so each week we take the opportunity to hear Shrimad Bhagavat, to hear the Shrimad Bhagavatam. And today we will be discussing the fourth canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam, chapters 19 and 20. The title that we had given for this class was Attention or Accomplishment, Attitude or Accomplishment. And we will learn or discuss these topics within the context of a great king who was also a great devotee named Maharaj Prithu. So once again, we're discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapters 19 and 20. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo
10, I was hopeful of I was in the Gurukula in Mayapur, and at that time I was hopeful of being initiated. I had fulfilled the criteria, the requirements, and been chanting 16 rounds with full commitment, in other words, without any lapses, for more than a year and a half at that stage. So, I'd had other periods when I was 7 and 8 chanting 16 rounds, but then I would drop off. But at this stage, I had maintained it for more than a year and a half, and I was quite confident that our school principal would be putting in he had put in my recommendation. So I was prepared for an initiation ceremony the next day on Gaura Purnima, and then was very, very disappointed on that morning when I was told that I wouldn't be initiated. And the reason I was given was that I had, yes, fulfilled the requirements, the criteria, but not that I was too young, but that I didn't have the right service attitude. And that really disappointed me. I had ticked the boxes, so to speak. I had done what was required, and therefore felt I had earned the right to be initiated as a disciple. But there was something wrong in the mentality that my teacher was wanting to highlight for me, to understand that it is more than just the practice or the accomplishment or the pulling down, like we have the counting beads on our bead bag, and we pull them down, whatever our commitment, whether it's 4 rounds or 8 rounds or 12 rounds or 16, yes, done, I fulfilled my vow. But then we might reflect that how much did I actually think of Krishna through the course of that? And so as a 9-year-old, I was being told, yes, you have pulled the beads down, you have said the names, but there's something more, you need to give more attention in terms of your attitude. And I proved the teacher right, because after he said that, I threw my beads into a tree and they stayed there fasting for a couple of days to show my displeasure. So yeah, I proved him right. So I'm sure even you will have in your experience, someone might offend you and then say, I'm sorry. And you think, well, the words were right, but I didn't really feel any sense of remorse in the way you said, sorry. And so, along with our behaviors, there needs to be a certain attitude, and that is so important in bhakti. Because in bhakti, there are certain practices that are the same as or similar to karma kanda or jnana kanda. In other words, you can do the same things. You can come here and see Radha Muralidhara with the intention that I want to be elevated to the heavenly planets. I want to enjoy heavenly opulence. And so when that is our attitude, we don't actually get the jewel, the treasure of bhakti, that is prema. We get those material rewards. Or if we're coming here, I want to be liberated from this material condition. That's the aspiration of the jnanis or the yogis. I want moksha. Radha Muralidhara can give that as well. And so the actions look the same, but the outcome is entirely different because of a different attitude or intention in what we do. And so today we can discuss this topic in more detail with a wonderful illustration from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This will be a story that highlights attitude and also highlights forgiveness. Last week we were speaking about compassion, and forgiveness is it's a type of compassion. We could say it's a subcategory of compassion as well. And so we will discuss this then within the context of Prithu Maharaja's 100 sacrifices. So we'll discuss 3 topics. 1, Prithu Maharaja's 100 sacrifices. 2, Indra's disruption of those sacrifices. And 3, who pleases Krishna. So we begin with Prithu Maharaja's sacrifices. This is based on the 19th chapter of the 4th canto. Prithu Maharaj, I'll put it up a little later. Prithu Maharaj had taken over as ruler of the earth from his father, Vena. Vena had been a very bad king, a corrupt king, a king who was I'm from Australia. We did have a king or a queen who was our head of state on our money and on our stamps, but a constitutional monarch didn't have absolute power. The power was within the constraints of a constitution, so a constitutional monarchy. In the Vedic culture, they also didn't have absolute rulers. The king or the monarch was constrained by the constitution, that is the Veda, and by the counsel or the pleasure of the community of Brahmanas, the Brahminical community. In fact, Brahma, when he is a Brahmin by his nature and by his Varna, Manu says when he created, as a secondary creator, when he created the world, he gave the rulership of the earth to the Brahmanas. But the Brahmanas didn't have the passion to manage as such. And so they handed over that service to the Kshatriyas. So the Kshatriyas ruled on behalf of the Brahmanas, so to speak. But this Vena, he did not heed the directive of Shastra, and he did not heed the guidance of the sages, of the teachers, of the Brahmanas. And so therefore, he was eventually removed from his position by the Brahminical council. They had an interesting way of removing him from his post. They did it through mantra. They chanted a mantra that basically killed the corrupt king. So are any of you interested in hearing that mantra? It could be deadly, right? I'm a little hesitant to utter the sound because it was the sound vibration of the qualified Brahmanas that killed the king. Well, fear not, I'm not such a qualified Brahmana that if I utter that sound, you may lose your life. Thank God, Kali Yuga, these things are not as efficacious. The chanting of the holy name doesn't depend on our qualifications, doesn't depend on our proper pronunciation, but Vedic sounds, Vedic mantras do. And so the sound, should you care to know, you might need it at some point, was hum. There you are. If you're under attack, you might say hum. See what it does for you. Maybe with a little more force, right? Yeah.
Don't please.
Yeah, and so they said hum. Vena lost his life, and then they churned his body. This is also curious, an interesting idea, found in the Bhagavatam. Churning the body, maybe cloning. We do have this idea in modern science. Today, you take a part of the body, and under some process, then a child is born. So from the body of Vena, the Brahmanas, they gave rise to a son that was Prithu. And so Prithu, he became the next ruler. And there are wonderful stories of how he re-established Dharma, how he re-established truth on earth. And after he had established the rule of law, the rule of Dharma on earth, he set about to perform 100 sacrifices, 100 great yajnas. This was a different time. And so in that age, the Agnihotra, it was the Dharma for that time. For today, it is the chanting of the holy name. In Dwapara Yuga, it was deity worship. In that age, it was fire sacrifice. And they would, in this particular sacrifice, they would sacrifice a horse. And the mantra chanting of the Brahmins was so powerful that that horse that was sacrificed would be seen to be elevated to the heavenly realms in a celestial body. So again, not something for us to try today. Lord Chaitanya, he says that this sacrifice is forbidden in the Kali Yuga. It was allowed in the previous age when Brahmanas were qualified. But in our time, it is not permitted because, yes, we put the horse into the fire and it just dies. There's no benefit there. And in that time, the Brahmanas were so powerful. And so Prithu, he had committed for the benefit of the state, for the benefit of the people, but for the pleasure and the glory of Vishnu. Because when Vishnu is pleased, then there is prosperity for all. So for the glory of Vishnu, he committed to perform 100 of these sacrifices. And this had only ever been done once before. Once before by a great personality named Indra. In fact, it is said that he got this post on account of his having performed these 100 sacrifices. And so when when Prithu began this sacrifice, Indra became uneasy. He was seeing this in terms of some kind of competition. The sacrifice was so great, and the universe responded by participating. It is said that the earth itself took the form of a cow and provided within the Yagyashala all kinds of sacred articles, grains and ghee and milk products. So Bhumi, she sometimes does this. She takes the form of a cow under different circumstances. And so here she's taken the form of a wish-fulfilling cow to participate in this sacrifice. It is said that the rivers, they flowed into the Yagyashala with sugarcane juice and other fruit juices, and the trees, they gave all kinds of fruits, and what else might trees give? They gave lots of honey. The seas brought forth precious jewels for that sacrifice. The mountains, they offered different medicinal herbs, and the people, they came forth with their tributes. Narayana himself, Vishnu himself, came to be present in that yajna. And when the demigods saw that Vishnu was there, they also came. Brahma, he followed along. Lord Shiva was there. The different rulers of the directions were there. The great sages, the Gandharvas were there, singing the glories of Vishnu in that wonderful sacrifice. And in this way, 99 sacrifices were completed. And as Prithu was about to undertake the 100th sacrifice, things turned a little, things turned bad, so to speak. Because there was a Shatakratu, that is one who has performed 100 sacrifices, named Indra, who became jealous. And he had been watching this with some unease, but now that he saw that his achievement was about to be matched, he decided to intervene. Driven by envy, he assumed the form of a sadhu, of a sage, and he went and stole the sacrificial horse. And so, standing guard was a prince, that was Prithu's son, with his bows and arrows, protecting that horse, protecting the sacrifice itself, as his father sat in the Yagyashala performing the sacrifice with the priests. And so he pursued Indra But then seeing Indra in the form of a sannyasi, like dressed as a sannyasi with orange clothes and carrying a staff, he thought, this is a saint. I can't challenge him. I can't cause harm to him. And so he withdrew. And another sage who was watching all of this, named Atri, he told the prince, that is no sage. That is an imposter. It is Indra in disguise as a sage. And so the prince, he went after the so-called sannyasi, who then left the horse and fled to save his life. And so the prince returned with the horse, and he was given the name Vijitashva. Vijitashva means the one who conquers the horse. And so the sages, they gave him that title. We can pause here and just reflect briefly on what we've discussed thus far. Let's think about Indra. What is his position?
King of heavenly planet.
He's the king of the heavenly planets. Not the king of New York, not the king of the United States or any other, not the king of the earth, but the king of the heavenly planets. His power and his glory is unmatched. And yet, what do we see in him? Envy, fear, jealousy. He's afraid. And so this is a point that Krishna makes in the Gita. Abrahma bhuvana loka punar avarti norjuna mamupeti punar janma. That from the highest planet in the material nature to the lowest, there's fear. There's fear of birth, there's fear of death, of old age. And so, then Krishna offers a promise, is if you come back to me, none of that fear exists. It's Vaikuntha, fearless. So, we should take note of this as we try to achieve our different objectives in life, to achieve this opulence or another, this job, that house, that car, that situation. Do it as a matter of duty, whatever it may be, is in your family or whatever need you might have. You may do it, but just keep in mind, this will not ultimately satisfy me. It may be my duty as a family person, or it may be my felt need as a conditioned soul. I have this longing or desire, or okay, try to fulfill it. But keep in mind, it won't satisfy the soul. So do it, get it out of your system, be purified of it as you continue to engage in devotional service, but also be ready to let it go when the time comes. Indra is showing us, by negative example, how these things will ultimately not satisfy. Another important lesson for you and I to reflect on here is how our own insecurities make us selfish. Our own insecurities may cause us to lose our dignity. In this instance, Indra is acting in a deceitful way. He's losing his dignity. He's a great person. He's an honorable person. He's the ruler of heaven. He's glorified in the Veda. He's glorified and looked up to by other great demigods. And yet here he acts in an undignified way, not befitting his station. And so we see how fear and selfishness can cause us to act in ways that are not becoming and selfish, because he's this deceit. It also, we'll see, it has he's setting a negative example. Someone dresses up as a priest, someone dresses up as a sannyasi for some material gain or material purpose, then society itself loses trust or faith in holy people. When Prabhupada was first introduced to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, his friend said, "I have found a saint, come and meet him." And Prabhupada said, "Please." I've seen so many so-called saints in my life. My father would bring them off the street, sit them nicely, feed them, give them all kinds of services, but I know who the character of these charlatans. So Indra has done a disservice because of his selfishness, and that based on his fear. So very important negative example for us to learn from. This didn't happen just once, it happened many times. After Vijitashva returned with the horse, so did Indra, dressed as a different sadhu, a different sannyasi. And Vijitashva again chased him, and then again saw the sadhu dress and relented, and then the brahmanas told, the sages told, "Hey, no, don't be fooled. He's not a real sadhu. Go back and get the horse." This happened many times, and so it is said that from these different dresses that Indra adopted, different schools of atheism or atheistic so-called spirituality appeared in the world. Appearing as saints, but adopting kind of twisted, speculative ideas that don't have anything to do with devotion. And so Prithu, he's the ruler of the earth, and he has a duty to protect society. And so he considered stealing the horse is one thing, but causing confusion in society is another. And so Indra must be punished. And although he was sitting in the Yagyashala, having taken a sacred bath like the pujaris when they come here to worship the deities, first they have to dress themselves in clean clothes before they can go on the altar. Even if they've been traveling, they'll change their clothes upstairs and then come down and do the puja. So Prithu, he has been ceremoniously bathed and dressed, and he's seated basically on the altar. But then he's watching what's going on, and he wants to take his bow and arrows to punish Indra. And the brahmanas who are doing the yajna say, "No, you can't be going off killing someone in the middle of a yajna, in the middle of your puja." And so he told him, but the brahmana said, "Look, we have a solution for you. Don't worry, we recognize your duty as a king is to establish justice, to establish the rule of the sacred law." Jai Shri Shri Radha Muralidhara ki jai, Gaura Chandra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Brahmanas said, "We recognize you want to do your duty as a protector, and so we have a solution for you." What is it? We have powerful mantras. We're doing the yajna. We will chant mantras that will call Indra into the sacrifice. That way you won't have to use your bow and arrows, but your purpose will be fulfilled. And so the brahmanas are preparing to chant their mantras to call Indra as a sacrificial oblation. But Brahma appears and says, "Stop. This is not right." Indra has behaved badly. That is true. But he's the ruler of heaven. You can't just take him out like this in a sacred fire sacrifice. And so you must desist. Do not complete those mantras that you have started chanting. You must respect the position of Indra. Even though he's wrong, he's behaved badly, he also has a position of representing the Lord in also maintaining order within the heavenly realms. And so that authority, the seat should be respected. Even the person on it may not be living up to expectations. The seat itself should be respected. The office should be respected. And so you can't disrespect the office of Indra. Indra is a post, it's an office. Different, you and I may have been Indra in the past, we could be Indra in the future, hope not. Some may aspire for that, but I believe none of you would be. So Indra is a post. Brahma says you have to respect the post. You can't kill Indra. And he turns to Prithu and he says, Prithu, you have done great. You have completed 99 sacrifices. Let that be your accomplishment. 99, it's still good. It's not 100, but it's 99. Let Indra be the Shata Kratu completer of 100. You be the completer of 99 sacrifices. Is that all right? And so Prithu he agreed because Brahma was asking him. This is actually very difficult for someone of Prithu's character, not because he needs 100. Indra got 100, I need to have 100 or 100, not for that, but because when you begin a sacrifice like this, an undertaking, you also make a sankalpa. Sankalpa means an intention. I will do this. I will achieve this. This will be my offering. You make a promise, a commitment. And so now Brahma is asking him to change what he's already committed to. This is very difficult for Prithu, for a noble person or an honorable person who gives their word. It is very difficult for them to change it. Even in our time, an honorable person, they say something and they'll say, my word is my bond. And in that culture, you have, this culture that the Bhagavatam speaks of, you have situations where a sage will say something and the universe itself will conspire to fulfill that because they said it. Because they are so committed to truth, to only speaking truth, when they say something that is not yet true, the universe will respond to make it true. And we can give many examples, but we won't. But just making this point to say that it's difficult for Prithu to come down from what he's committed to doing. But he does, because he's been asked to do so by a higher authority, by Lord Brahma. And so again, we can pause here. One is to just take note of Indra's behavior and to be careful what we do when we are representing not just ourselves, but an institution. How we present ourselves, we don't just represent ourselves, we also represent our spiritual master. We also represent our community. we also represent our Sangha. And if people see us as representing that, and if we reflect badly on that community or reflect badly on our spiritual master or on Krishna, that is a great disservice. So we must keep that in mind. In our dealings with each other, our dealings themselves should glorify or bring credit to our spiritual master, spiritual masters. Our dealings, people should think, oh, such a nice person, like their Guru Maharaj. Such respectful dealings, just like they have learned well from their teacher. Such good character. That nature of the disciples or the devotees or the followers of Srila Prabhupada. Such good character, that is the nature of a devotee of Krishna. When we behave well, it doesn't just bring credit to us, but it is also an offering to our spiritual masters. It is also an offering to Krishna. The opposite is true. Indra is showing us, we have the contrasting examples here. Indra, the negative example, how he brings disrepute to sadhus, and then Prithu, he is the counterexample of how his character brings honor to Vishnu. And we'll see as we progress how this is very pleasing to Vishnu, very pleasing to Krishna. Even though just 99, actually he's the one who pleases the most. Also interesting, we have, just as a side point, Prithu, that he chastises Indra or is ready to punish him, also shows how sometimes even a respected personality might have to be confronted for their misbehavior. There are many examples in the Bhagavatam. Brahma also misbehaved at some point. His sons respectfully approached him to point it out to him. And then when he couldn't listen, they prayed to Krishna to help him. As opposed to, trying to pull him down, which might be our tendency. How can that person be an exalted because they made a mistake? So there is much to be learned from these examples in the Bhagavatam. Indra's misbehaved, Brahma had misbehaved. Still they are honored and exalted. It's not that they get away with it, but at the same time there is still respect for the position and the credit that is due them. But the more important lesson for us is to learn from Prithu's character. His character of humility before Brahma, his humility of respecting Brahma's authority and request makes him the better person here. Even though his act of stepping back from the greater achievement, that he has the right attitude, he's actually the better person. He's the bigger person. By accepting less, he makes himself bigger or makes himself greater. And so having the right attitude is more pleasing to Vishnu than having all of those accomplishments. Because the way this story continues then in chapter 20 of the 4th canto is that Vishnu personally comes to Prithu. And we must note, Vishnu is the Lord of sacrifice, and he's mentioned as such in the verses. Yageshvara. The purpose of doing 100 sacrifices is the pleasure and glory of Vishnu. And Vishnu comes to Prithu and says, I'm pleased with you. He hadn't come to Indra to say, I'm pleased. He came to Prithu. He did 99, but Vishnu came to him and said, I'm pleased with you. Your sacrifice, your service has pleased me. So I want to project some verses now, because you know the story, but actually Vishnu's interaction with Prithu is the most beautiful part of the story. So now that you know the story, you'll appreciate this description of these interactions. Okay. Yeah, that's working. So Vishnu appears before Prithu along with Indra. Shama payata atmanam amyusha shantam arhasi. Shamyatam means forgive me. Once I was, my Guru Maharaj, Srinananda Maharaj, once I was, he's a Sanskrit scholar. I was serving him and I was getting chastised quite a bit. And so I looked up the Sanskrit word for forgive me. He likes Sanskrit, he likes language, he speaks 6 or 7 languages. And so the next time he chastised me, I said, Shamyatam. And he was so happy, he started laughing, Shamyatam, Shamyatam. And so, yeah, I learned the word for sorry in Sanskrit, and it made my Guru very pleased. He let me off for that particular occasion. And so Vishnu is appearing to Prithu. So, my dear Prithu, Indra, the king of heaven, has disturbed your completion or execution of 100 sacrifices. Now he has come with me to be forgiven by you. When you look at the Sanskrit, it's now he's asking forgiveness from you. Therefore, please excuse him. And so there's nobility on Indra's side now as well. Prithu has backed down, and now Indra is having he's reflecting on the situation, seeing Prithu's nobility and his character. Then this is also having an effect on Indra. Parityakta guna samyak dharshano visudasaya shanti me samavastanam brahma kaivalyam asnute. This is a little later. Vishnu, he tells Prithu that the devotee has equal vision. The devotee is not attached. And therefore the devotee is equipoised. Equipoise, he says, is something that is the character of the devotee. The devotee serves. Krishna speaks about this in the Bhagavad Gita. The devotee serves. They try their best to make the best offering to Krishna. But the outcome is never guaranteed. Success, there may be success, there may not be success. But if the attitude of service is there, then Krishna will be pleased. Success or failure is a success in bhakti. In material affairs, then success is success, failure is failure. But in bhakti, success or failure, Krishna is still pleased if the effort to serve is there. So the process is what is important. The outcome is secondary. Yes, we're trying for the best offering. We're trying to please. We're trying to do our best to serve. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Krishna is saying, in either case, I'm pleased. And so the devotee is equipoised in all circumstances. Shantim, and therefore peaceful. Samavastanam. sama, equal in their vision. And so Krishna says, I'm captured by this. This captures my heart. Varam chamat kanchana manavendra. Actually, he calls him Indra. That last word, manavendra, Indra of people, like Indra on earth. Oh, you are the Indra of earth, but you're the Indra. Vrinishvate ham gunashila yantrita. Naham makar vair sulabhas tapobhir yena va yat samachita varti. I am captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior. You have got my heart. You have captured my heart. I am favorably inclined to you. You may ask from me anything you wish. One who doesn't have elevated qualities and behavior cannot achieve my favor just by doing sacrifices. One who doesn't have the right attitude, one who doesn't have the right character, they will not get my favor just by doing 100 sacrifices. Austerities or yoga, I always remain equipoise in the heart of one who is serving me, basically. Serving me, the process of bhakti, success or failure, their attitude of service is there. So tasty, huh? So delicious reading these verses. And so Indra, he's feeling ashamed now. He went from feeling sorry to now feeling ashamed. Oh, like I really am in the wrong here. And so he falls down at Prithu's feet. Vishnu's already apologized on his behalf, but now he himself has fallen at Prithu's feet. And Prithu has no enmity towards him. He lifts him up, he hugs him. It's fine. You disrupted my 100th sacrifice. But it was for Vishnu's pleasure, and Vishnu is pleased. I don't need that extra one. Vishnu is pleased. He is sense of himself. He is pleased by the attitude. He is pleased by the character. You gave me this opportunity. You, Indra, gave me this opportunity to please Vishnu. And so I don't have any ill will towards you. It becomes even more tasty. Vishnu, he's like, okay, I've resolved this. I can leave now. But then he looks again at Prithu and he's like, he can't leave. He has so much love for Prithu that he, sometimes it's like that. You say bye, and then you end up staying. 15 minutes later, it's like, oh yeah, bye, and then you end up still staying. And so Vishnu, he is prepared to go, but he can't go. Anugraha vilambita. Seeing the behavior of Prithu, he's kept back. He's kept back. He's unable to leave. Because he's so greatly inclined towards Prithu, he could not depart. And so then he says to Prithu, ask something. Ask me a benediction. Take something from me. So this is one of those great opportunities. What is the devotee going to ask for? You've done 99 sacrifices. Vishnu said he's pleased. And now he says, choose anything you wish for in the entire world. How many times have we dreamed of that? and what we would ask for, right? Prithu's wish is most wonderful. He wants 1,000,000 ears. Vidhatsva karanyutam esha mevara. Please give me 1,000,000 ears.
That's what I thought.
Oh, sorry.
Siri agrees. Siri says, that's what I thought. 1,000,000 ears, that's what I would have asked for. We have some musicians in the room, very attuned to sound. Why does Prithu want 1,000,000 ears?
Hear about the glories of this lotus.
He wants to hear about Krishna's glory from devotees. That's what he wants. That's what he asked for. Ask me anything in the whole wide world. Please give me 1,000,000 ears that I might hear you. Like 2 ears are not enough. They don't satiate the longing of my heart to hear your glory. Rupa Goswami, he says something similar. He says, when I say the name, the syllable, Krish, the syllables, Krish, I feel like I'm standing on the bank of a river. And I wish I had 1,000,000 mouths, because it's hot, yeah, and I'm fatigued, and I feel like I'm standing on the bank of a river of nectar, and I wish I had 1,000,000 mouths. And when I say the words na, I wish I had 1,000,000 ears. So much taste, so much flavor in the holy names. That's the experience of the devotee. We can marvel at it, but that's what Prithu Maharaj is asking. I want at least 1,000,000. Then I can hear your glories. When the gopis see Krishna, they wish for 1,000,000 eyes to see Krishna's form. And they criticize Brahma's engineering abilities, like how foolish that he doesn't know anything about relishing Krishna's sweetness, because he gave us eyes that blink. For a fraction of a moment, we can't see Krishna and take in his beauty. So we get a sense of Prithu, his character, like how much he loves hearing about Krishna, how much taste he gets from hearing about Krishna, that he wants 1,000,000 ears. This verse, I put it here because Indrajuna Maharaj really loves it. Sa uttama shloka mahanmukacchuto bhavat padambuja sadakkananala smritim puna vismrita tattva bhartmanam kuyoginam no vitrayatyalambarai. Indrajuna Maharaj likes this idea that the words of the devotees are like saffron particles that fall upon the audience with their flavor and their aroma and awaken devotion for Krishna. My Lord, you are glorified by Uttama Shloka, you are glorified by selected verses uttered by great devotees. Such glorification is like saffron particles when the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust from your lotus feet. The forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction than the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. That's what Prithu is praying for. He knows that by hearing from devotees, love for Krishna is awakened, and therefore he wants to hear. And then this is nice, this last prayer. May there be no jealousy between us who are vying with each other for service. Maybe sometimes we compete. I want to dress the deities. I want to lead kirtan. I want to cook. Are devotees competing here in the Bhakti Center for the same services? Not always. Yes, okay. Then-
I think we have a pretty loving mood here.
Okay, all right. Sometimes we all want to do the same service at the same time. And so Prithu, he's just saying to Krishna, when we all want to do the same service, like we all want to massage your feet or something, me and Lakshmi, and someone like Lakshmi is in charge of massaging Krishna's feet, please let there be good dealings between us, loving dealings between us. Like me and Indra, we're wanting to do sacrifices, and then it becomes a competition. Who gets 100, who gets 99? Let there be loving dealings before us. And then Krishna blesses them, saying, Mai bhaktir astute. May you be constantly immersed in devotion. So we conclude there. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai!
Prahlad Prabhu ki
Jai!
Prabhupada ki
Jai!
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We're going to have arti now. So everyone can just come forward and we can move these red cushions to the side so we can all sing and dance together for the Lord's pleasure.
Jai! Jai!
Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
हमारे चरण अरविंद भक्त विनंत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की श्री रूप श्री सनातन भक्त रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भक्त रस रघुनाथ सरगो स्वामी प्रभु गान की हो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ मुकुंद राधा कुंज गिरि गोवर्धन की गंगा देवी की यमुना देवी की भक्ति देवी की गोपी महारानी की राम संकीर्तन की मायापुरवरी धाम की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री श्री राधा मुरलीधर की श्री गौरचंद्र की श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की श्री प्रभुपाद की Gaur Premanandi. Glory to the Son of devotees. Glory to the Son of devotees. Glory to the Son of devotees. Glory to Shri Shri Guru Brahma. Glory to Shri Prabhupada.
Namaste Narasingaya. Shah
much again for being here. Full program today. Thank you again, Sri Prahlad, for speaking, and Premananda, and I'm so sorry, forget your name again. Jambavanta. For singing kirtan. Thank you all so much. We have this every Sunday. Please come back every week. This is your program. Next Sunday we have His Holiness Keshava Swami coming, and he'll be giving the Bhagavat Sravana. So we really look forward to that. It's going to be amazing. He's also giving a morning Srimad Bhagavatam class on October 10th, which is the following Tuesday. And then we have more festivals coming up again. We just had big festival season, then we had a little lull, then get prepared again. So we have on October 29th, the Gaur Chandra Installation Anniversary Appearance Festival. That's on a Sunday evening, October 29th. It's also the first day of Kartik. November 12th is our huge Diwali festival organized by our festival team. And November 13th, Govardhan Puja. Please stay. We have a lovely feast served for you all in the back. You can take prasadam in the back of the temple room and just associate with each other. You can leave a donation if you want as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.